Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Middleman.
Hello and welcome to the Middlemen of Jurors. I am Juror Emeka Matan. With me today are Juror Jumoke Alaude James, who will be asking who set Nigeria on fire. Juror Sindra Bako will be examining the effect of the killings in Plateau, and Juror Innocent Abdulba wants IDPs returned to their homesteads to end food shortage. I will be discussing why security must involve everyone in Nigeria. But before that, we'll go on the short break. Stay with us, please.
Middleman.
My case, security must involve everyone. The challenges of security in today's Nigeria make the involvement of everyone imperative. No longer do we need to organize security at formal levels only. The security threats of today are no longer predictable, and so an inclusive approach is necessary. Everyone must be involved. Every method that can be used to counter security threats must be adopted. Social media is a very important tool in combating crime and insecurity. My verdict: the security system in Nigeria must be overhauled and made all inclusive.
That's a strong case there, I have to say, Juror Emeka. I couldn't concur any more than the issues you've raised, but what I must add is that in a very practical sense, perhaps they should include adopting state police once and for all, empowering local vigilance groups to also be part of the security architecture, create a time frame for saying that, look, in the next 2-3 years, let's phase out using the military in internal security operations, strengthen the police, give them capacity, intelligence, everything that they will need, resources to make sure that the police is competent enough to police Nigeria internally, and then get communities to own the process, in which case they serve as the first tier of intelligence supply. People who are, say, traditional laws can also look at their towns and help the police in solving crime. There was a time in this country when many years ago, police will come to a place and the villagers will say, allow us, we can handle it, and the police will go back, believing that by our shared values, that matter will come up again. But over time, a lot has been lost. So we can begin from somewhere to say, look, to make security possible, we all have a role to play in making it achievable. That's my contribution.
We had traditional ways of securing ourselves before the colonialists came with religion, right? Where, because it was an abnormal thing, right? You spread your wares in the market, put calories to show how much each item costs, and you didn't expect anyone to steal. And so if you had a thief, or, you know, in those days they were armed robbers, so people who would just are abnormal and would cross over to someone else's house to steal, we had local ways where you will just get to the person's house. You come to Jumoke's house, Alawode, you will be sweeping till morning. You will just carry the broom and by yourself be sweeping till morning, till they catch you, right? But the colonialists came and told us that our ways were dark and archaic, and so we adopted their own ways. And today we are saying Nigerian police is corrupt. They cannot do this. They cannot. You are asking that we strengthen the Nigerian police to police internally. Wasn't that their original training? Where did it all go wrong?
So, Jumoke, hold on. Do you mean to say that the reason why we have security in Nigeria today is that it's because of colonialism and brought Christianity? I don't think they said Christianity was what they basically said. Religion is a matter of choice. They evangelized, we know. They proselytized, we know. But you embrace it as a matter of personal choice. And I don't think that the reason why we are where we are today is because of either Christianity or Islam. It's a personal thing. Societies lose value over time. It's a normal thing. But you can walk your way back to where it used to be before. The time we had state police or regional police, we were much safer than we are today. I think that by and large, the pros outweigh the cons. Look at what's happening in Benue, in Plateau, in Borno, and we are just shouting and saying, President, when in reality, the governors of those states should have more power to dictate what happens in their domain than somebody in Abuja who is very far from where they are.
Well, let me come in here. Part of our problem is I like to put Nigeria side by side with Ghana, who have openly admitted to the world the unitarism they practice. And we have acclaimed federalism. And then we have invented federal unitary system, not replicable in any other part of the world except in Nigeria, where if you look at the US or some other country, today if you are interested in joining the police, you just walk to a police station, declare your intention, you are given an appointment, and in like 2 weeks you are in training to become a police person for your local community. In Nigeria, we await, there's a season, it will be announced, forms will be sold, and then you start looking for who you know that can admit you, and so the interest is showering down. And then largely a Bala Usman from Sokoto can be transferred to work in Akampa. Some people don't know where Akampa is, in Cross River, so that's not the capital yet, a metropolitan Calabar. So Bala Usman from Sokoto in Akampa is as anonymous as a fly on the wall. Nobody knows him, neither does he know that terrain. So the making policing everybody's business for me is like, you've mentioned some elements, state policing basically, and then the federal character policing, what maybe the US have as FBI, can be thinner and fewer than the mass of the police. Because as we are now, you mentioned Plateau, Benue. I've been questioning myself, if there is a fracas, you call the police commissioner in Benue or Plateau. I don't know, but I believe while the people are being killed, he won't move. Until he calls the IG. I'm sorry, wherever the IG is, he will wait his nod. So if that man left his phone and is dining with people and there's a message waiting, beheadings, killings will be ongoing until Oga commissioner in one state. Okay, so all of this time
So
kills.
we have a system failure.
Exactly.
And we need to rethink it.
Exactly.
That's all for this case. When we return to Juror Cyril Abako, we'll be talking about the recent spate of killings in the country, showing light specifically on man group in Plateau State. Stay with us.
Middleman.
My case, more mango killings. It is yet another day for a conversation. I am driven by patriotism. Now, patriotism is a word many won't find sweet in their ears. When I mean many Nigerians. That is only understandable, and the reason is not far-fetched. But a house that always needs to visit its foundation each time it should add a new fitting is not a good house. It stands on faulty ground. That house today is Nigeria. Somehow, Nigeria will be a very quiet country, living inside the peace of the graveyard, if things were allowed to go the way of those who deem themselves more Nigerian than others. That is, those who can kill and who actually kill, maim, rape, and slaughter fellow Nigerians, while the rest of the nation will be expected to keep mute. They want land and more land. They want grazing fields in other people's compounds. They want Jos. They want Plateau State. They want all of the Middle Belt. Then they want even more. Some have called it ethnic cleansing. We have not heard of any serious arrest, but even after our government declared a curfew, a new attack has led to the killing of no fewer than 43 persons in Mangu village alone. The government is either helpless or actively colluding with these killers. I can't see it any other way. Here's my verdict. As I have said before, Nigeria needs better policing, and in this case, state police. On the back of it, local vigilance groups must be raised, armed and empowered like Amotekun in the southwest, to fill in areas where the police and other security agencies have failed and continue to fail. I so rule.
Okay, the issue of state policing has become a regular conversation, right, in the quality. Who is going to implement it? we need to change the constitution, because everybody keeps recommending state policing. You know, you cannot ask a people to watch and defend themselves if they've not been empowered to.
Sorry, but do you think it's only just the change or adjustment or amendment of the constitution that can lead to this?
Because if you do not put it in the constitution, if you state policing is illegal.
If the Senate today take it as a bill and it's voted,
And yes, and
it passes now.
Yes.
Because the constitution complexities is lengthy.
You know, but you have to amend the constitution. You see, bodies like the police, the army, Air Force, and so on,
They are constitutional.
are clearly designated. That was why when Santita was having issues with me, there was one and I said, how can a body known by law, unknown to law, will be having a me kind of having with a nation's navy that has power over its territorial waters, is having an altercation on that same territory with an unknown group.
Yes.
It was funny, but in the case of the police, you will have to amend the constitution to achieve it.
No,
Okay.
can I just comment? The Supreme Court, sometime last year, ruled on a case involving Anambra State, whether citizens have a right to arrest and whether citizens have a right to prosecute without obtaining the fiat of the State Attorney General. And the Supreme Court said yes, they have it. And Mr. Femi Falana had actually said that there are enough provisions within the Constitution, even in the criminal code, which governors can use to actually organize the defense of their territories. But the point is that what is the quality of people you have in your ministries of justice? The people you nominate as commissioners for justice, attorney general of justice. So, you see, there are things that you can actually jump over the issue of constitutional amendment by taking it to the Supreme Court, because there are already decided cases on some of these things. So we don't need to wait until the National Assembly, gets over all the politicking and everything, and then decides to put state police in the Constitution. In the criminal code, there are provisions that allow for certain forms of self-defense. So why can't governors take advantage of it?
But what even beats me is why the governor of Plateau State has not summoned the courage.
All governors of Plateau State.
No, the current governor just got a breather some days ago when the Supreme Court upheld this election. But the point is, the issue in Plateau State has to do with the involvement of external forces who are bent on seizing Plateau State. And these external forces are actually encouraging illegal mining. They're actually encouraging illegal ranching. They're encouraging illegal logging. They're encouraging all kinds of terrorist activities in Plateau State.
What's the solution?
The solution is very simple. The governor must come out and tell those invader herdsmen to quit, to leave. Other governors did it.
No, but sir, sorry, just to cut in there. You know, when government speaks, it's not just the words that they put out. They are backed
By law.
No, not just law, but also by naked force. So if you fail to comply.
And then that comes to what I've just said before. When this governor speaks, he will be speaking in quote to the commissioner of police in Plateau State.
Exactly.
Who will again relay
To the
Inspector General of Police I'll wait for when.
Wait for instructions.
But how did Fayose, as governor of Ekiti State, how did he do it?
That exactly
vigilante.
Why does the government not summon the political will? You know, people the reason why these people can't go to neighboring Taraba is because the people of Taraba are ready and waiting for them.
Yes.
So they know. You see, because as I was saying earlier, you see, when government speaks or when anybody is speaking, they ask what is the what's behind him.
True.
If the government has the real thing that is speaking, so the governor of Plateau has not summoned the courage. When when he said you cannot do this thing here in something was given him. In fact, he told said, Malami, you can't be able to decide what we do. So and the
but from Emeka's position, knowledge of law and it's the spirit of the law. Akeredolu, God rest his soul, is a celebrated son. So I think he sipped through what the law books were saying and stood with a man.
We say that Plateau State is where they are today solely because they don't have people who can read the law and tell the government what to do.
I
disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think the governor has not somehow, see what I think. All the problem you had in creating Wase and Just North have sort of beaten even the political class in Plateau State to a point where they are extremely afraid and worried of taking decisive steps Lalong was governor for 8 years. Before Lalong, there was also Dani. You know, there's
only one problem: field representation. Yes, sorry, sir. A governor is a representative elected.
People, yes.
A senator is a House of Assembly members are. The citizens are dying, and their yearning in this case is a solution. And none of the none of the Assembly or Senate or House of from Plateau can speak up.
When the head is rotting, while the blood of these people was still fresh on the ground, the president entered Nigeria Air Force One. I'm going to France.
On a private, he wants to have lunch.
He wants to go and secure his own body.
President Tinubu has shown to Nigerians that he doesn't care about the welfare, the killings. He has.
You know that Buhari was doing exactly the same
disaster
thing
zone
since he became president.
Okay, fine. Let him send the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Let him send him.
I remember we condemned that he sent Shettima to, was it Benue in December 26th? After the killings also there, it was Shettima that was sent there. No.
It was Benue.
Was it? It was Plateau. It was Plateau. But I remember that we also condemned that the president was in Lagos partying with governors and sent the vice president. Yeah,
I think there's sufficient fear in the political class of Benue State. They are very, I think those people are very afraid of even moving against these people who are coming to take over their land. Lands that they come to a Bureau village, dispossess the people and take over the land, then rename it in the full name.
Can I just say something? I will advise the elite of Plateau. Let them form themselves and approach the International Criminal Court by filing a case of genocide.
Yeah.
List names.
Yeah.
They should list names. List Tinubu, list Shettima, list Muhammad Buhari, list Jonathan, list all of them. And these are the people who, by their action or inaction, have refused to prevent genocide in the area. If they do it, look, let me tell you something. If they follow up with the international media, it will become a global matter. And there is a way it can be escalated.
Yeah.
If it becomes an issue on CNN, on BBC, on Radio France, let me tell you, the world will take notice. And a lot of these things will stop. And secondly, the governor should know the state governors are in charge of all the land in their territory, including the forest. The governor should summon courage and declare that anybody staying in any forest illegally must quit within a week.
What's the fire power to do that?
If there is a blow,
says there should be something back in the common. He's still honeymooning from his recent electoral victory. People should look at another thing. The invaders, the assailants come armed. So we've also mentioned headsmen who carry AK-47 and all the judicial structure in Nigeria till now is yet to question their source of license till now.
What I'm saying is
but if you carry the case or now, you are arrested.
Yeah, so look
what
at
I'm saying is
this.
that the elite of Plateau State living abroad, living in the diaspora, they are the ones that can move decisively and save the state. Okay. We should initiate an action that will put an end to all of this once and for all.
That's the much we can go on this subject. When we return, Jura Jumoke Alawade James wants to know who is setting Nigeria on fire. Stay with us.
Middleman.
Welcome back. Here, still watching the Middlemen of Jurors. And my case today is to ask who is setting Nigeria on fire. There's an unwritten rule when it comes to religion in Nigeria. Be careful what you say so you don't set the country on fire. Yes, it's that volatile. but only when it comes to the imported religions. I mean, I keep on talking about our imported religions because our traditional religions have been demonized. As you well know, we're a country of many nations, nationalities, and we've had different modes of worship before the colonialist missions. Though we practice our traditional religions secretly, as many people still believe in them, as the results sought are more instantaneous than in the imported religions. You know, Christ is very forgiving. We don't fight for those gods. We even pretend not to know of them. Anyway, even though ethnic bigotry has always been a thing of our differences, we have now imported the same volatility into ethnicity. Or to put it rightly, politicians have politicized ethnicity. Now, even though we say we're one united country, you may not get a job you're qualified for just because of your ethnicity. Ethnicity over competence. They are playing politics with Nigeria, and we, the citizens, are allowing it. There's nothing positive to this, no matter how you look at it. If we say we are one country, then one system must allow justice, equality, and fairness. If we say we are one country, then our system must allow justice, equality, and fairness. If that's not possible, then let's have a referendum. A system that allows injustice, nepotism, and incompetence to thrive will eventually fail. Let's not set up Nigeria to fail by ourselves. Yes, we know the colonialists set us up as their business entity, and they didn't care if they put us together in a way that will never know peace. But we're old enough to decide things for ourselves now and should be seeking solutions for the problems of our amalgamation, not creating new ones ourselves. My verdict: it is time to ask us to seek a new direction for Nigeria. We can't be complaining about racial profiling and discrimination outside of Nigeria and back home. We can't even treat ourselves right. And if the alleged ethnic cleansing or genocide going on in some parts of the country is perpetrated by foreigners, we, these citizens, must defend ourselves now. The world sees us how we treat ourselves. How do we expect them to treat us better? We ought to choose, because it's a deliberate choice to do better.
Okay, that's a hot one, but I will start from a remote entry into it. On Saturday night, I ran into a boy. He said he read political science. We started talking. He said, Oga, you will make a good lecturer in my school, ABU Zaria. He said, oh, they won't take you. I said, you said I will make a good lecturer, they won't take you. He said, but there are students who have gone to serve, come back and are lecturing already, maybe junior lecturer, lecturer assistant. I asked them, really? He said, yeah, but they are all indigents. I said, why? He said, like him now, he will be going back to that school because he went for his result. That's when they gave him 16 courses that he didn't write the exams for. They are just giving him. I said, why? He told me because he is Igbo.
Wow.
And I asked him, are there other Igbos? He said, no, he's the only Igbo student in political science final year, ABU Zaria. But that there is another Igbo girl in his faculty. I said, so as she graduated, he said she also has the same problem as him when he called her.
So they gave her 16 courses too?
So this is my point. I was in Kano in 2018 too. I went to look, it's a self-Ajala business. No organization, nobody. I wanted to go and look at the famous cotton farms I hear about. Luckily, I met a man in the market. He said he was 63. He took me. He left his market and just took me, showed me vast land that those are, but that there's nothing on it. That his people are looking for oil in the south.
Wow.
And both the farming, the cropping, and all the logistics down the chain and its benefits.
Abandoned.
Yes. So, and he said he is praying that Yoruba people should come and teach their children again, that they taught him when the colonialists were living. They brought Yoruba teachers, they've changed them, they've brought indigenous, and not. So I'm coming, I said I'll come from remote. The fire you see, look at those children, people of 22, 24. The fire you see, their minds are already pigmented.
True.
And that's their belief. And that A boy said it happened to another. It's looking like a scientific coincidence. It's not just an accident. So these fire things, I went to, okay, this is a personal one. I went in 2015 as a staff of one of the media houses opposite the power holding building in Alausa. I went into the secretariat, Lagos State government, to look for, I just knock on it, I'm looking for. So one man just looked at me and called, my son, I like your eagerness. You won't get a job.
Ewo.
Are you from Lagos State? I said, no. Are you Yoruba? I said, I won't get a job. But that here, he is due for retirement. His son is serving, so he's waiting, holding forth. When he leaves, the boy can't replace him in that time, but he will be here to facilitate his employment. Then he will resign. That he would rather do that than leave and tell him, go and see somebody. But that, as he's telling me, he's confessing something abnormal, that there are people here holding down 4, 5 places for cousins, nephews.
Was he a Yoruba man?
He is.
Okay.
He is. So, setting the country on fire, I'm coming, like I said, remotely. So you can see this one now is ethnicity.
Yes, sir.
And you've mentioned it, overcompetence.
Yes, sir.
So you find in quotes, capable people unemployed, looking lazy, poor. The system does not throw them up. Then you find the same people sometimes abroad, flourishing, celebrated. So I think the annoyance, the grudge, the frustration boiling among us is part of the fire thing. It's part of the fire. Maybe someone else could take it up from me.
So the question to ask, when you say those people are abroad, Bobby, how many of them? Because we can't take one case and use it to extrapolate for millions of Nigerians abroad. There are still Nigerians who leave this country, travel abroad, and get into that same lazy system. Maybe they look for one old woman to get married to and be living off a benefit.
No, we are talking of what sets of the system, the process of selection. The process of selection does not discriminate, is what I'm saying. The discriminations from here don't follow them there.
The idea that Nigerians leave this country and then they can only flourish abroad.
I'm talking of Nigerians chasing legit processes.
Okay. However, they fare when they travel is like a secondary issue. Setting this country, I think I remember one man who ran for governor of Lagos State. He was being interviewed and he said that those who should change Nigeria have given up on Nigeria actually.
True.
Because you cannot do harm to something you believe in.
True.
You cannot go into office and seek to be looting. There's a story I read, I think I saw it this morning or was it last night. The former Attorney General and former advisor to former president and that same president and president assistant were together having a plea bargain in which they were going to refund $25 whopping billion to Nigeria out of $75 billion that they stole or that they looted.
What happens to
so they were going to keep $50 billion to themselves?
Well,
as shock absorbers.
That's as far as the story goes. Now, but what I'm coming to is, you don't steal that much. Nobody who is in his right mind steals that much.
Like we discussed last week.
Yeah, so but that is one of the issues. The other issue is that there was a president that missed away, obviously. Maybe it was after the first coup, maybe it was after the counter coup, or maybe it was after the civil war. Jumoke, the case we've raised today, you see, I think Barrister Bakuba was saying the right time that a country or a nation that has spent 23 years trying to rework its constitution is an unserious country.
True.
And it is true. But the question is, what is this unseriousness? It is not an organic unseriousness.
No.
It is a
elitist,
deliberate, well orchestrated. The script is paying.
I say it's not a scientific coincidence.
This explains why when a president comes and says that, or when the government says we need to move certain departments of a particular organization to where it is more profitable.
To Lagos.
So they are not saying it will be more profitable. They are saying that it is their land and that the thing should remain there. So clearly you see that the reason why this fire will continue to burn,
yes,
it's not because we don't know the right thing to do, but some Nigerians have come to see themselves as more Nigerian than others. And so the rules and the laws and everything we do must be skewed to favor them, otherwise it will not move forward.
What's the solution?
No, you've mentioned the referendum. It seems Nigeria is repugnant to referendum. From what he has told you, being contrived, Nigeria has become a political oligopoly.
Yes.
Where the politicians must be wealthy. And like in the words of Professor Wole Soyinka, he will tell you they've weaponized poverty. And in all of my write-up online, if you go read me, I think Nigerian masses are looking at the political elite in islands of opulence.
True.
And they are surrounding them in oceans of poverty.
True, sir.
So in this referendum, again, we come back to my comment, failed representation. It is the masses, the governed, that will yearn for this referendum.
How come
those representing them, on the platform to activate the mechanism for a referendum on the islands of opulence
will not come down.
No.
You see, and to be...
How come the citizens are laid back and watching the elected or selected
No.
I don't
representation empower themselves, loot, steal?
Did you see Nigeria's current budget? Have you seen what is allocated to them? Let me use the word them. And what is allocated to?
At the National Assembly, 80% of all the money they spend as budget is on personnel costs. That's the veterans. That is their salaries of PAs.
1/4 of our national budget is on recurrent.
I just want to quickly make a submission that the current collector class that we have, or the other Nigerians, when you say them say budget, they are commissioning projects, and none of these things can deliver this country.
True.
No, none of them. Oh, what are going to be just doing day to day is just the motion.
But I was
so what that either the political parties or the political class can save Nigeria is that's a fatal joke. It will not come to pass.
But I was asking the question about solution, right? Because the reason there will be nepotism is because there's no justice and fairness. If you knew, for instance, my father used to tell me when I was a child that just read your books, federal government will give you scholarship to secondary school, because he from his village in Gbongan, a missionary primary school, St. Paul's Primary School, in Gbongan, it's not in Oyo, is Oshun, got a scholarship into King's College in Lagos. He got into the University of Lagos and got a federal government scholarship to go and read economics in London School of Economics. So my father believed, just read your books. You know, so if my father, for instance, worked for the federal government, he will not be holding, he will not be sitting in one position holding it for me or my brother, because he will believe that there is equity, there is fairness, it is all based on merit. So but when we see that it is your father, your grandfather, and your great-grandfather, like our richest billionaire, we know how he got where he is. They orchestrated the system in such a way that was only his company doing a particular kind of business, sending other people out. And once there's a monopoly, we're all at his beck and call. So I don't want to hold on that position for my daughter because I know the system isn't fair to all. Why will a man up north, Ndule, say, President Tinubu, why are you taking CBN and FAN to Lagos? Because we believe that it is where whatever the agency is located that benefits from it, not the nation. I ask myself again, why is Zamfara's gold for Zamfara? But Ilesha's gold is for illegal miners and not the indigenes of Osun State. Why is the Niger Delta oil for Nigerians? The people who live in Niger Delta can no longer farm nor fish.
Nor drink their water.
Can I add to that? It is because we have the wrong set of people as governors. That is the truth.
How did they
full representation?
How did they become governor?
With a weaponized poverty.
It's a man no man, like Fellas and Paddy government. So if you look at some of the issues, we think...
See, we will disagree with that.
If you look at some of the issues we think are intractable, some of these issues can actually be corrected through certain acts by governors. For instance, you have certain issues here and there that come up, which are within the purview of states or local governments, which a pronouncement or just a simple court pronouncement can correct. But what do you find? The governors see that as an opportunity to want to make money.
I asked again, Emeka.
Benefits.
I asked on the table of jurors, why are Nigerian citizens docile?
And look at, I'll give you two answers. One, with reference to one governors. The Benue governors, through the Benue House of Assembly, banned open grazing. Was it obeyed? There were police people who saw the disobedience. Did they arrest anybody? Fayose acted. No, I'm coming.
Vigilantes.
So what is holding the Benue government?
From empowering vigilantes. Remember that in the government of Buhari, they warned, what was his name? The Benue State Governor.
Samuel
Otom. That if you are, because he got and he said, no, we are going to harm our boys, we are going to defend ourselves, and he said, it's unconstitutional.
If you go and look, Samuel Otom was a two-faced, was a double-faced politician. It was even said, even the people he claimed to be fighting for and fighting against, they knew him as a double-faced politician. Samuel Otom never worked for the interest of the Benue people. That was why you saw the way he played his politics. It shouldn't be an example.
Okay, so for solution,
The second one. The second one.
I don't know how to summarize it. For the right set of people to be in government, like we have not too young to run, for instance. Yes. Not too young to run for what?
We did not even remember it again.
I'm getting it. So I'm coming. How much is a governor, a senator, a presidential form? And this young person who just garnered this money, are you going to use all to purchase
them? They say you come and use 40 million to purchase.
So when you do, that's a non-insurable risk if you don't scale through.
Can I prefer a solution? Because I mean, it is winner takes all. You lose your 40 million nomination form. If we start paying the elected officials, from president to senators to governors, permanent secretaries salary.
Okay, who will approve that?
Nigeria.
We the citizens, represented by the Senate.
The disempowered citizens.
We are disempowered and we are sitting there. If you see that, you die.
Nigerians are not docile.
Who will lead Nigerians to fight this battle they're talking about?
You and I.
Hallelujah.
He's thinking of his lovely.
When we come back, Juror Innocent will be discussing about the return of IDPs to end food shortage in Nigeria. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Middleman.
Yes, welcome back. You are still watching the Middlemen of Jurors. I'm concerned about the internally displaced persons in Nigeria being returned back to their original homeland to end food shortage in Nigeria. As we know, an internally displaced person is anyone who left their homestead against their wish, especially being forced, but they are still within their country's territory. Sometimes they refer to them as refugees, but they do not fall within that legal definition because they've not crossed any international border. Examples of IDPs in Nigeria are families caught between warring parties, having to flee their homes under relentless armed attacks. In this case, notoriously in Nigeria, Boko Haram and the herdsmen saga. The IDPs in Nigeria is the result of a multitude of complex and often overlapping drivers that triggers, including recurring floods and protracted violence. Most of the IDPs in 2022 were associated with disasters, as we saw across the riverine route, where there was a decade record of flooding that hit Nigeria around June to November. But most of the IDPs I am concerned with are the displaced farmers from major agricultural belts in Nigeria. You talk about food baskets like Benue, Plateau is burning on the table, Niger, Taraba, Adamawa, Kaduna, and Borno. among other states, of course. According to National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Displaced Persons in Abuja, as of June 2023, they identified a total of 2,295,534 IDPs. The estimated number of IDPs and returnees across the state are as follows. Borno have over 1.6 million people in 30 IDP camps. Zamfara with 678,000 IDPs in 8 camps. Benue, 300,000 and counting in 7 IDP camps. Adamawa, over 200 IDPs in 2 camps. Yobe, over 150,000 IDPs, but the governor has closed all IDP camps, saying they've gotten the requisite camp that can keep people in their homes. So kudos to Yobe. Niger State has over 150,000 IDPs in 7 camps. Plateau has over 140,000. This is a 2023 estimate. We've not added the current situation. And there is no IDP camp in Plateau State, so expect, health crisis, as it were. Katsina, the state of the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari, with about 130,000 IDPs in 2 camps. Interestingly, Cross River State has a high number of over 100,000 IDPs in just 1 camp. Taraba State, 82,000 in 0 camps. Kaduna State, over 83,000 in 9 camps. And so my verdict is, all of these people, especially those who farm, there should be concerted effort from the government to return them to the original settlement. Then the government ensures perpetual camp, protect farmers, and possibly food shortage in Nigeria will end.
You remember, Juro Innocent, that some farmers going to their farms were beheaded in Nigeria in the last dispensation. And then we started to hear of farmers paying
Yes, it was a newspaper
army
headline.
personnel
Yeah.
to escort them to farms, go and harvest their produce, and then come back home. So, in attesting to, your case, my current security guard is a farmer from Taraba. Farms potatoes. First child of his mother, only his mother is left in the farm. He left last year, about June 2023, to go, it's only my mother that is home, I'm going to farm, blah, blah, blah. And then by end of the year, came back again, that farming was no longer profitable. I'm telling you the honest truth, because they couldn't even go to their farms. Insecurity. So, when we talk about food inflation at 23%, going on 50%, if you understand what I mean, because today you are buying bread.
Or even 100.
Today you are buying bread at 1,000 naira. By the next week you get there, they say, auntie, it's now 1,100 though. The following, every week, the price is changing.
And the size reduces.
Before, we used to calculate our inflation per year. Our inflation now, monthly, we need to be
now week on week.
So I agree with you that we, and our cases today have been very similar. We need to secure Nigeria. If not, we may not be able to feed ourselves. So when you say, why are we importing tomatoes from Togo? Why are we importing yam from Cameroon? It's because our farmers can no longer go to farms. Kidnapping for ransom is more profitable than farming.
It's a big industry.
Yes.
That yields more returns.
Yes.
Than those who do the conversion.
You become a billionaire. You remember the Kaduna Abuja train attack? That they were asking for 200 million.
Even they invade a whole university and just kidnap children in droves.
Just
yes.
The one that happened earlier this week, Nabiha. How much did they pay to get them free?
They were asking for 60 million.
200 million, I think, eventually.
They were asking for 60 million initially.
Which was raised to 100.
When the father couldn't raise the money, they sent him his daughter's corpse. Yes.
Of course, now Nabiha, then they now later release their 4 sisters after they are come to pay. Is it 100 or 200 million?
And they were kidnapped from their home. They are leaving the road, the highway, the bush, the village to come into cities. This week, to be exact, Lagos State government said to us, please be careful around the Bagada Oshodi corridor when entering a bus because one chance has returned, and the one chance is kidnapping for ransom. So you see a bus with 5 people and they are calling Oshodi from Bagada.
Someone fell victim this morning. I saw the person face to face. He was lucky that he only lost his phone. I went back to pick it up. He fell victim to it this morning on that corridor. I met a man who fell victim to it this morning.
So when government is even warning us that be careful until we can put the situation under control, just be careful in that corridor, you realize that we must do something. Nigeria ought to declare a state of emergency on security.
Because in Abuja, people are selling the houses just to flee. The kidnappers go to that place every blessed evening.
If they can pick you from your house.
From 7 p.m. they go visit. People are packing and fleeing. If that can be happening in the nation's capital, where else is there safe? And the person, you see, like Senator Shehu Sani said the other time, he said, they arrest these kidnappers looking all haggard, looking all unkempt, looking dirty, but they are kidnapping and asking for millions and millions of naira,
yes, sir,
which they must return to their employers. So who then are these?
So the kidnappers are agents.
Yes, now you think somebody who's collecting 1 billion will be living
will come to the forest and
be eating dry bread.
How come? If Nigerians now resort to jungle justice, start identifying these sponsors, burning their homes, maybe track down one vehicle, a one-chance vehicle, pursue it, block it, set them ablaze, you will see that the Nigerian police will suddenly become very active and start saying, no.
They start arresting the citizens doing it.
So that shows you there is complicity within the security services.
I agree.
That is what we should look at. Because let me tell you, nobody can confront the state if he doesn't have the backing of the state.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Go on an armed conflict against the state.
Exactly.
If he is not a beneficiary of state power
himself,
or state benefits.
Himself.
So
yeah.
you have dismissed soldiers, you have dismissed policemen.
True.
Then you also have serving residents who are criminals on the highest levels. And so what you need to do is this. Look, it will get to a point where Nigerians will take their destiny in their hands, particularly in Lagos.
Wow.
Because Lagos is a volatile place when it comes to things like this.
It's the last hope of peace in Nigeria.
See, Lagosians will not sit idly by like residents of Abuja.
Like
You remember when
we that are already having OPC.
coming longer when you had the issue of 1 million boys. People started organizing like in my area.
Yes, sir.
In my area.
Yes, sir.
You know, different areas. People mobilize money, mobilize bonfires, and are ready.
Yes.
Anybody, anyone was going to meet his ancestors.
That's
So when that thing started happening,
We started
reacting.
We forgive
You
you.
now saw suddenly, the security agencies now became very active.
Alive.
They now started driving in the middle of the night. Oh, are you okay here? Okay, all right.
But there is another scenario that will be difficult for us to separate good intention from complicity. Within the Buhari's administration, scores of Boko Haram people, headsmen who were arrested, were deemed to have been repented and absorbed into the police. If you send that kind of police to
IDP camp.
yes, or a situation they were attacking, can we measure their intent? Can we?
To answer that question.
Yes. Why I mentioned this is definitely the court system should have taken charge of prosecution.
In the news under Buhari, such a refurbished, rehabilitated personnel said he was leaving the police to go back to Boko Haram.
No.
If you Google, you
A rehabilitated person.
Yes.
It was even Senator Ali Ndume who came to say that one of those guys left and went and killed his father.
I said that the money that they were paying them was not up to the money they were collecting as terrorists. So we abandoned.
Sent to jail.
Yes.
So extortion paid better
Yes.
Of course.
than civility.
Now, you know, the IDP camps are also time bombs. If you look at
But they are also getting children now.
what happened between Israel and Hamas,
They have teenagers.
you saw that Hamas,
They have teenagers.
you saw that Hamas used some of those refugee camps to, stage attacks. They distributed themselves, in between the refugees. So we must do something.
See the staggering
On
number
time.
across the country.
These are few states, just 8 states.
Calabar, we are calling it.
The Rwanda ministry has a lucrative corridor to be doing humanitarian service for people in IDP camps, and they are going to distribute money to people in IDP camps, and some were to fly to Kogi State. There is no airport. It is the reason why these camps will not go away.
And people are profiteering.
I'm not profiting. In another 20 years, these camps will be there.
Do you know there are many refugee camps across the world that they refuse to close down because they have now become very lucrative
Conduits.
Yes. So you see, the very concept of nationhood, of statehood, is lost on many politicians across the world.
Wow.
Yes.
So the solution.
So the solution is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must set up an action plan that within the next 1 year, IDP camps in Nigeria, at least 70% must be closed down.
I hope you can hear me.
If they cannot return to their homes, find other places for them to go to. But government should stop this Father Christmas way of dispensing money. I've always been against it because why? You dehumanize the people.
Aside from dehumanizing, you remember the reports that a lot of women in the IDP camps have to sleep with the military men to even get food.
Food that is badly cooked.
Yes.
Food that is badly cooked.
These are. Sometimes
I hope President Tinubu can hear you.
if you go and say 9 of them are put to bed, 15 of them are put to bed.
Yes, now.
You know, like,
Are there maternity centers in the IDP camp?
You are not, entertainment
Or engagement?
in the IDP camp. What do they do for fun?
And they seem to be very fertile in the camps.
Because they are supposed to be engaged. Back to your point.
we are not.
Back to your starting point. They are supposed to be engaged in farming.
Yes.
Now, there is a problem we have with the way we look at our problems, we look at issues in Nigeria. And what is it? You see, we go looking at, okay, solid minerals is the new oil. No, ICT is the new oil. No, Uber is the new oil. Meanwhile, the one we have,
The gold mine.
the good one which is farming, that is so easy. We have arable land, we have good weather patterns, but we can just say, okay, let us get people back in the farm.
Secure the farm.
We are not. You see, it's not difficult to secure the farms. Let me tell you something. If Nigeria wants to end banditry today, what the president needs to do is just declare a national recruitment policy. 18 Nigerians between 18 and 20 who are ready to enlist for compulsory military training should come out. Let me tell you something. Where there is a will,
Would it be unitary?
What will you feed them?
Would it be unitary?
Cassava.
Would it be?
go to the farm.
What will you feed them?
They will be cultivating.
Àgbàdo, cassava.
There is even another side to it. In this 2024, we farm with hoe and cutlasses.
But see, that is our area of competitive.
No, I disagree.
No, sorry, I'm going to someone.
I disagree.
If that is our area of competitive, we then gradually scale up.
Competitive advantage equal.
No.
With hoe and cutlass.
Don't get me wrong.
We are not
No,
we will use that.
you will feel
All of you
the point
And a senator's jeep can buy how many tractor?
It's like farming.
Forbidden in Nigeria.
Is it something science?
And Nigeria, rocket science. Nigeria has 50,000, estimated 50,000 tractors. With the scale up.
For over 200 million now.
Sri Lanka has the highest number of tractors in the world. We can actually scale up so that we get back to the farm.
President is not at home. Let us go.
Okay. These kind of conversations are burning.
No change is supporter.
I don't check his mental health. Pastor.
He's not a pastor.
I don't check his mental health.
So he can actually pass a message across the
Okay, well, I think on that lighter note to a very serious issue, we would like to drop anchor here. The conversation continues. We hope the pragmatics will start taking place out there, and our government will continue to make the citizens their priority. From all the jurors here on the Middlemen of Jurors and our technical crew, we say, till we come your way again, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.